Countdown. Countdown.
Yes, I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, Jeff?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting on, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I was on a Formula One tour.
I would have been a bum because compared to you.
We could be on the tour.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right, you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. As the family today. This is the Wednesday afternoon hump day edition of Cat Sports the Boxtorian. Today, some of the best rounds in boxing history. We're going to look at 50 of the greatest rounds ever to happen in the squared circle. Tomorrow is going to be Boxing in the State Series continues with Utah. And then Friday, the life and career of Eric Morales, one of the four kings of the 2000s. Morales, Marquez, Pacquiao, and Barrera. Had 13 fights between them. The only fight in that series that didn't occur was Marquez and Morales. But we're going to talk about the life and career of Eric Morales Friday. But today is going to be some of the best rounds in boxing history. And what we got this weekend, I think it's Gabriela Fedorova this weekend, I believe. And in a couple of weeks, we got the Ryan Garcia and Rowley. I got Ryan in that one. Mike Mazick in the building. Salute, Mike. How are you today? Some of the best rounds in boxing history. Today got 50 rounds, 50 action-packed rounds. Some of the best ever. Like Ali Foreman round 8. Remember that one when Ali got Foreman out of there, and Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. We got, of course, Hearns and Hagler round 1. Possibly the greatest round ever. Definitely the greatest 3-round fight ever. And the round 1 was round of the year, so you got to include that one. That's Hagler and Hearns right there on the screen there. Yeah. For the highlights of boxing history today, though, it's since we've been talking about all-time greats all week and ranking them, today it's going to be the best boxers of all time by division. We're going to list the best boxer in every division, from heavyweight on down to minimum weight, 105. Heavyweight all the way down to 105. The best boxer in every division for the highlights of boxing history today. Yup. But hope everyone's doing well this hump day. Going downhill to the end of the week now. Still got a couple more days of this boxing history. Like I was saying, tomorrow the boxing in the States continues with Utah. Whether the state had a lot of boxing history or a lot of significant events or a little, these got covered every state, and we're winding down. Now we started around this time last year, I think. And tomorrow, Utah, a little history, some other significant events concerning boxing that occurred in the state, and some boxers from Utah. We're going to find somebody from Utah boxed, and we're going to talk about them tomorrow. And then, of course, again, Eric Morales, the life and career of Eric Morales, Friday. And that series of great fights with Pacquiao, Barrera, never fought Marquez. Only fight between those four that didn't happen. Morales, Pacquiao, Barrera, and Marquez. Yeah. But let's get into the highlights of boxing history for today, which is the best boxer of all time from each weight division. Okay? The highlights in boxing history for this Wednesday. Hump day. Hump day. Okay. Yeah, I think the Gabriela Fundora fight is this weekend. I think she's undisputed at flyweight. 5'9". That's big, just like her brother, 6'7" at junior middleweight, 154. She's 5'9" at 112. But she gets down there and looks comfortable and good fighting at that weight, and she's undisputed, undefeated. And I think she's the youngest undisputed champion ever. Mm-hmm. Not the youngest champion ever. That's Wilfred Benitez at 17, but I think Gabriela Fundora is the youngest undisputed champion ever. But let's get to the highlights of boxing history for today. Today, the best fighter of all time by division. From each division, okay? Let's talk about it. Now, you can look up any list of greatest fighters that ever lived. No doubt, you will find a mixture of different fighters from different weight classes. Now, on many occasions, numbers 2 to 10 on those lists may vary dramatically, but the number one spot is rightly secured in most of those lists by none other than the welterweight Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay. Now, one can't say how a fighter from one weight class would have done at another division had he been bigger or weighed less. Now, those imaginations and comparisons are what lead us to the popular concept of the pound for pound rankings, in which Sugar Ray Robinson ranks #1 of all time. Now, for today's list, we go away from the concept of pound for pound rankings and look back and give credit to the best fighters from each division. Okay? Starting out with heavyweight. And of course, it's Muhammad Ali. Okay? That's heavyweight of all time. Now, in this era, Ali defeated almost every known and respected heavyweight of that era. Now, Ali fought during the time when being heavyweight champion really did mean something. Opposition was strong, and you always fought the best. Ali was dominant during the best time for heavyweight boxing. So it's only natural for him to go down as the greatest of them all at heavyweight. Mike Rim in the building. What's up, Mike Rim? For the highlights of hot boxing history today, Mike, it's the best fighter from every division, from heavyweight all the way down to 105, minimum weight, short weight, whatever you want to call it, little flyweight. But salute Mike Rim. Of course, heavyweight is Muhammad Ali. Yeah, we've been talking about Ali all week. So I thought, we would do the best fighter for every weight division today. Yeah. Aside from being fighter of the year 6 times, that's the record. Ali won the Fighter of the Year award 6 times, and that's the record for anybody. And aside from being Fighter of the Year 6 times, he was also in some of the most entertaining and competitive fights in boxing history. Okay, we go to cruiserweight. Best fighter ever at cruiserweight, Evander Holyfield. He edged out Usyk because of resume. Evander fought the much more stronger competition than Usyk. But Usyk's still fighting, but right now it's Evander. Now, he may be mostly remembered for his heavyweight fights against Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis, but Holyfield's best years, without a doubt, were as a cruiserweight. You're most remembered for the Tyson fights at heavyweight, but his best years were at cruiserweight. During his time at cruiserweight, Holyfield was pretty much the owner of the division. He was dominant in every way and went undefeated at cruiserweight, never beaten. From the get-go of his career, he claimed victories over strong opposition such as Tyrone Booz, the White Muhammad Qawi, Henry Tillman, Rick Parkey, and Arcio Ocasio. Now, once he left the cruiserweight division, he left a legacy of basically being unbeatable at cruiserweight. Evander Holyfield, the best cruiserweight ever. Light heavyweight, the best light heavyweight ever, Ezzard Charles. I don't know how I left Ezzard. I don't have a picture of Ezzard. I don't know how I missed him. Yeah, but at light heavyweight, it's Ezzard Charles. Okay? Never champion at light heavyweight, though. That's what's weird about it. Considered the light heavyweight of all time, arguably, by many. But never a champion at the division. But he was heavyweight champion. But Ezzard Charles is a light heavyweight representative. Now, Charles was what could easily be considered a masterful boxer. He was fast, moved great, and he had great footwork. Charles was also responsible for beautiful combinations, which were usually very accurate. In his prime, Charles was impressive in every way possible, not only looking good, but doing it against top opposition, such as Archie Moore, Jimmy Bivens, and Lloyd Marshall, just to name a few. Charles would also perform well at the heavyweight division, winning the heavyweight title in 1948 and defending it a total of 9 times. Ezzard Charles the best light heavyweight ever. Okay, super middleweight, Roy Jones Jr., best super middleweight of all time. Roy Jones Jr. Here's Roy. This is highlights of boxing history, the best fighter from every division. We're down to super middleweight, Roy Jones Jr. Now, during his prime, no one was as impressive or made it look as easy as Roy Jones Jr. did. Roy was so dominant that he held a record-breaking 6 belts at the same time. Those belts were the WBC, WBA, IBF, IBO, the NABF, and the IBA, WBF and IBA. That's 7. WBC, WBA, IBF, IBO, NABF, WBF, IBA. Well, that's 7. Need more be said? In 2003, Jones looked even more impressive when he made boxing history by beating John Ruiz for the WBA heavyweight title, becoming the first middleweight to do so in over 100 years. Bob Fitzsimmons did it in 1897, like 106 years before Roy did it. Okay, so that was very impressive. And add to that, being named Fighter of the Year for Fighter of the Decade for the 1990s, after achieving wins over legends such as James Toney and Bernard Hopkins. Roy Jones, best super middleweight of all time. Okay, the middleweight representative for the best in their division, got to go with Harry Greb. Harry Greb, yeah. Hagler, honorable mentions Marvin Hagler, King Carlos Monzon, but Harry Greb gets the nod at middleweight. Okay. Now, part of what made Greb great was his toughness and aggressiveness. He fought an incredible 303 times and against everyone considered good at the time. One thing was for sure, Greb loved to fight. So much so that in 1917, he fought a total of 37 times, and in 1919, he fought a total of 45 times, winning every one of them. Okay, that's almost 100 times in 3 years. Greb was well known for not caring about opponents' weight. As middleweight, he fought and beat light heavyweight champions, battling Levinsky. He also defeated light heavyweight champion Jack Dillon and Willie Meehan. Yep, Harry Greb. Junior middleweight, best junior middleweight of all time, Thomas the Hitman Hearns. Thomas the Hitman Hearns. There he is fighting Sugar Ray Leonard, his biggest rival in his career. Fought him twice. Was winning the first one. He outboxed Sugar Ray twice. Was winning the first fight, then got stopped in the 14th round. Second fight, very controversial draw. That Sugar Ray Leonard knocked Sugar Ray down twice, and Sugar Ray Leonard himself admitted that Hearns won that fight. But Thomas Hearns is a super junior middleweight representative. The Hitman won an impressive 8 titles in 6 different weight classes. Along the way, he beat such names as Virgil Hill, Wilfred Benitez, and the legendary Roberto Duran. Part of Hearns' greatness was his willingness to fight the absolute best, and to prove so, he fought a total of 21 world champions during his career, 21 of them. He was famous and usually avoided for his great knockout punches, one of which can be seen in his fight against Duran. He would also go on to win Fighter of the Year in both 1980 and 1984, 2-time Fighter of the Year. You already know who it is, that welterweight, the great Sugar Ray Robinson, Mr. Pound for Pound himself, Sugar Ray Robinson, welterweight, best of all time. That one's not even arguable. Okay, this one is the easiest of them all. The man ranks as the best pound for pound fighter in the history of boxing. So it's only right that he ranks as the best welterweight of all time. It was at this division that Robinson dominated the sport and made fans, media, and the world fall in love with him. He was impressively versatile, smooth, and a super gifted boxer. He had a quick jab alongside great knockout power. He had 109 knockouts in his career with all his other talents in the 100 knockout club, okay? His effectiveness and dominance with both hands was incredibly overwhelming. Overall, Sugar Ray Robinson is the fighter that scientists would create if they could someday. You know, if they could create a boxer, the perfect boxer, it would be Sugar Ray Robinson. Best junior welterweight of all time, JCC, Julio Cesar Chavez. Now, the Mexican legend was a 6-time world champion in 3 weight divisions. With the concept of pound for pound rankings, Chavez dominated the list for many years. In a career that spanned over 25 years, Chavez ended with an impressive record of 107 wins against just 6 losses. I think he had like 80-something knockouts to go with it. Now, the most impressive part of his record is the fact that he had an undefeated streak for the first 89 fights of his career. 89. Chavez is, without a doubt, considered one of the truly great fighters of all time, winning a total of 6 world titles in 3 weight divisions. Along the way, he beat many great champions such as Meldrick Taylor, Sammy Fuentes, Hector Camacho, Edwin Rosario, Tony Lopez, Frankie Randall, and Roger Mayweather, just to name a few. What's up, Al Booger? How you doing today, bro? I want to apologize to Al Booger. I think I spoke a little bit harshly yesterday when we were talking about Rocky Marciano. Yeah, I didn't mean anything by that, bro. But yeah. So yeah, I think I spoke a little bit harshly. But salute, Al Booger. How's everything going today with you? All good? Yeah, because Al Booger always putting commenting in the chat throughout the show, and that's very valuable. So please keep commenting in the chat throughout the show, Al Booger. Okay, but salute, Al Booger. Let's continue. Oh, Al Booger, this is the highlights of boxing history. Is the what is it? Oh, the best boxer in every weight division. Since we've been talking about ranking boxers all week, this is the best from each division, and we're down to lightweight. Y'all know who that is at lightweight. I could just go on by that. The best boxer of all time at lightweight is the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. Okay? Now, Hands of Stone is one of the greatest fighters to ever lace up a pair of boxing gloves. During his great career, he was simply the best lightweight champion the world has and will ever see. Has and will ever see. The Hands of Stone. Now, Duran easily ranks in the top 10 best fighters of all time on almost everyone's list. Without a doubt, his best years came at the lightweight division, of which he was king. Went all the way to light heavyweight too. But lightweight was where he did his best work, without a doubt. Okay? Junior lightweight, the explosive thin man, Alexis Arguello, one of the great nicknames, the explosive thin man. Okay? Let's see. There go YouTube again. 3 likes. And I give myself 6. So how can I be at 3? If nobody else hit the like, I done hit it 6 times already, but they got 3 up there. Well, I don't know. But junior lightweight, Alexis Arguello, the explosive thin man. Now, the explosive thin man was a beauty to watch. At 5'10" tall, he had great height for his division, possessed great boxing abilities, and although as thin as he was, he packed one hell of a punch. His punches were always efficient. His boxing IQ was extremely good. He had a great arsenal of combinations. And if you made a mistake against him, he would make you pay dearly. Okay, make you pay and make you pay dearly. During his reign at junior lightweight, there was simply no one more dominant at any point. In 2009, after retiring and having a successful political career, Arguello unfortunately committed suicide. That sounds familiar. I mean, we did this before? I don't think so. But yet another time I saw that he did commit suicide though. But he was a politician for a while, very successful one, very popular down there in Nicaragua. But yeah, he suffered from pugilistic dementia pretty bad too, and that had a little something to him too, lot to do with him, committing suicide like that. Mentally, he was in real bad shape. Okay, junior at featherweight, the great. The legendary, great Willie Pep. That's him on the left, fighting his biggest rival, Sandy Sadler. They fought 4 times. Sadler won 3 of them, but yeah, they did fight 4 times. Now, Willie Pep. Willie Pep is the most creative fighter that ever lived. In his prime, he was known as the Will-o'-the-Wisp, possessed both an offensive and defensive ability combination that was a beauty to watch. His intelligence inside the ring can also rank as one of the best, if not best of all time. Yeah, ring IQs, he's up there. Top 5, top 2 or 3, with the Will-o'-the-Wisp. Now, throughout his entire career, Pep faced strong and top opposition on a consistent basis, sometimes even fighting twice a week, right? Now, while doing so, he managed to accumulate a super impressive record of 229 wins in 11 rounds. Now, y'all heard this before. Reported to have won a round without throwing a punch. Okay, won it on ring generalship, I guess. Junior featherweight is Wilfredo Gomez, 122. That's Wilfredo on the right. Looks like Lupe Pintor he's fighting. Wilfredo Gomez. Now, Gomez had a perfect combination of skills and aggressiveness. He possessed great defensive abilities and was exceptionally wonderful. He was champion in 3 different weight classes, but his best was by far junior featherweight. No question about it. Bantamweight, Ida Jaffer, South African fighter. Ida Jaffer, bantamweight. Jaffer was truly one of the greats. He packed one hell of a punch and landed them pretty often. He was smart, had great skills, and was good defensively. Jaffer could box fighters or get into a brawl. Either way, he was as bad as anyone. He also had an iron chin, which made exchanges with him a nightmare. Junior bantamweight with Coastside Galaxy. Coastside Galaxy. Galaxy was a slick southpaw with great punching power and boxing abilities in every part of the game. In his career, he defended his belt an impressive 19 times. That's the record at that division. Junior flyweight, Chang Jung Koo. Called him the Korean Hawk. He was a beast inside the ring and was relentless when it came to brawling. Had a great combination of foot speed with very accurate punching, which made him the great champion he was. Minimum weight. Flyweight was I don't know, I missed it. I didn't have nothing on him. Flyweight was Jimmy Wild. And minimum weight, Ricardo Lopez, to finish it off. Ricardo Lopez. Mr. 51-0-1, never lost in the amateurs or professional level. Okay, let's get to the show now, which is 50 of the best rounds in boxing history. Okay. That's going to be our picture for the 50 of the best rounds in boxing history. Didn't have time this morning. Okay. It's hump day. Going downhill to the weekend. Okay, bear with me for one moment, please. Here we go. 50 greatest rounds in boxing history. Okay. All right, let's get to the show. Okay, again, 50 of the greatest rounds in boxing history. Okay, let me make sure nobody didn't come and see what's happening in the chat. Got my 3 likes up there. And I gave myself 6, like I said. So, wow, definitely got more than 3. Okay, let's go. Number 50 is Dennis Andres versus Jeff Hardy. This is their 3rd fight. September 11th, 1991. Okay? Now, these granite tough light heavyweights slugged it out for 31 rounds over 3 fights. And this may have been the best of them. Around the left, BBC commentator Harry Carpenter gasping, "Have you ever seen anything like it?" Harding won the rubber match on points and said afterwards, "Nearest thing to this was Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Hearns." Yep, round number 11. Ted Cheeseman versus Sam Eglinton, August 1st, 2020. Round number 12. Both were shaken up in a dramatic final minute of the final round. Moments after sniffing Cheeseman's legs with a clean volley of shots, Eglinton found himself being driven back into a corner. Eglinton enjoyed the to and fro action as much as the fans, smiling as Cheeseman, who would prevail on points, fired punches at him. Mike Tyson versus Frank Bruno, February 25th, 1989, the very first round, round 1. Very first round in that one. The bookmakers fancied an early finish, and they almost got it. Down inside the opening 20 seconds of the fight, Bruno had a nation on his feet when he connected with a left hook later in the same round that sent shivers down Tyson's legs. But Bruno couldn't find another punch like that and was mostly on the receiving end until the 5th round stoppage by Tyson. But that first round was a doozy. Jack Johnson versus Stanley Ketchel, October 15th, 1910, round 12. And I don't know how many that one was scheduled for. That was, but they didn't have limits on rounds, but this was the best round of the fight, round 12. The rumor was heavyweight champion Johnson and middleweight boss Ketchel had agreed this fight should go to full 20 rounds, but it didn't turn out like that. Ketchel dropped Johnson in the 12th round, and then he was made to pay, being laid out for a full 10 minutes by a Johnson right-hand power driver. Ended in that 12th round, and Ketchel was out for 10 minutes before he came back to. I guess he made a mistake dropping Jack Johnson, because Johnson made him pay for that droppage. Is that a word, droppage? But Johnson made him pay for it. Alfredo Angulo versus Richard Gutierrez, May 17, 2008, round 5. Barely shaken by a left hook early in the round, Angulo hung on until his head cleared. He started landing left rights that had Gutierrez unsteady and then went for broke. Just when it seemed Gutierrez had survived the storm, Angulo started connecting cleanly again, and the referee stopped it. So good back and forth in that round. Round 5. James DeGale versus Badu Jack, January 14th, 2017, the final round. Round 12. AWM Boxing Podcast. Salute. That's the Angry White Men. D1, William Old School Ranked. Salute to the Angry White Men Boxing Podcast. That's 10 p.m. on Fridays nights. Salute to the Angry White Men Boxing Podcast. D1. I know Old School probably at work, so that's D1. Salute D1. We talking about 50 of the greatest rounds in boxing history. Right now, James DeGale versus Badu Jack, January 14th, 2017. This was the final round, round 12. Now, this back and forth fight between elite super middleweights looked to be up for grabs going into the last round. DeGale was dropped, hung on, and shook Jack with the last punch of a hard fight. It was called a draw. Fought to a draw. 12th round was the best round of the fight. Joe Louis versus Tony Galento, June 28, 1939. Early in the fight, round number 3. Now, the round when the short, fat, and so everyone thought beforehand, hopelessly outclassed Galento, had the heavyweight champion of the world on the floor. Galento had shaken up Louis in the opening round with a left hook before being dropped himself in the second round, the first knockdown of his career. Then the following round, it was Louis on the canvas, put there by a perfectly timed short left hook. Now Louis was up quickly, and Galento chased him around the ring, going left hook after hook at Louis. He didn't let his clean in, and his face was a bloody mess. And then finished him the next round. Juan Manuel Lopez versus Daniel Ponce de Leon. This was the second fight between those two. This was on March 15th, 2014. Round 2. Now, Ponce de Leon wanted revenge for a one-round defeat 6 years earlier, and he went for the knockout after dropping Lopez in the second round. Ponce de Leon ended up on his back after Lopez beat him to the punch with a southpaw right hook, and he was down again before the finish. Iran Barkley versus Roberto Duran. February 24th, 1989. Round number 7. Now, the fight appeared to be slipping away from Duran, so he put it on Barkley in the 7th, and the blade slugged with him, as both were rocked. Now, Duran dropped Barkley in the 11th round on the way to a split points win, but round 7 was the best round of the fight. Vitaly Klitschko versus Corey Sanders, April 24th, 2004, round number 8. Round 8. Sanders had wiped out Vladimir Klitschko, and the South African banger had his moments against his older brother, right? During 7 back and forth rounds. Now, Sanders had Klitschko under pressure in the 8th until Klitschko cracked him on the chin with a right. This time, Sanders had no response. Klitschko unloaded around 20 punches until the referee jumped in and stopped it. Thomas the Hitman Hearns versus Iran the Blade Barkley. 1. You know, the Barkley took titles from Hearns 2 times. This was the first fight. Round 3. Now, after 2 rounds, Barkley was cut on his left eyebrow, and his mouth was dripping blood. The punishment went on in the 3rd round, and as Hearns stopped to decide which punch to hit Barkley with next, the blade lashed out desperately with a right hand. Hearns moved right into the path of the punch, and it smacked him flush on the jaw with terrific force, freezing his body and leaving him defenseless for a split second. Barkley drove him to the floor with another right. Somehow Hearns got up, but the end was only seconds away. Eric Booth versus Arthur Donahoe, February 23rd, 1939, round number 9. Eric Boone. Now, Boone sensed the end was near. He got careless and slipped the right hand, but the next shot dropped him for a count of 4. Danaher added an extra punch while Boone was on the floor, adding further fire to the fighting. Boone picked himself up and went straight on the attack. Danaher stood his ground, and they traded furiously until the bell. Boone forced a 14-round stoppage eventually, but all that other action was in round 9. Terry North versus Troy Waters, June 19th, 1993, round 2, round number 2. Now, Norris looked well in control of the fight before Waters opened up to drop him with a flurry. Now, Norris took the fight to Waters on the resumption, pushing him back to the ropes and blazing away with both hands, and was then stunned himself after the Aussie responded. And then Waters retired after the 3rd round. That was round 2. Joe Kawasaki versus Byron Mitchell, June 28, 2003, round number 2. Okay? Kawasaki had never been on the floor in his career until Mitchell cracked him with a short right hook to the chin after a series of body shots. Kawasaki got up and chose to slug his way out of trouble. He set Mitchell down with a left hook, and it turned out on his feet with his follow-up attack to force the stoppage. No, he sent Mitchell down with a left hook and had him out on his feet with the follow-up attack, and that forced the stoppage. Floyd Patterson versus Ingemar Johansson, 3, March 13, 1961, very first round. 3 knockdowns in the opening round of the heavyweight rubber match. Patterson was over twice from right hands and then dropped Johansson in the final seconds of the round with a left hook. And Patterson ended up stopping Johansson in the 6th round. Thomas Hearns again. Thomas Hearns versus Juan Domingo Rodon, October 29th, 1987, round number 4. Now, Hearns survived an almighty wobble to become a 4-weight world champion. Rodon had the hitman in trouble with a left hook, but his follow-up swing mostly missed, and Hearn smashed him out of the fight later in the same round with a right-hand blast. Prince Nassim Hamed versus Kevin Kelly, December 19th, 1997, round 4. Now, by the time the bell rang to start the 4th round, Hamed had already been down twice and Kelly once. Kelly was soon down again, but he picked himself up to make Hamed go down once more. Kelly swung big shots at Hamed on the resumption and ran right into a punch that ended a crazy fight. Ray Mancini versus Arturo Frias, May 8th, 1982, round 1. Described as the threshing machine gone haywire, they traded huge shots at breakneck speed. Both were shaken before Mancini dropped Frias and forced a stoppage 6 seconds from the end of round number 1. 6 seconds before the end of the round, Mancini forced the stoppage. Arturo Gatti versus Yvonne Robinson, 1. 1988, round 6. Now the drama came in the final minute of the round. First, Gatti was in desperate trouble as Robinson repeatedly found his chin with clean shots. With around 20 seconds left in the round, Gatti crashed shots off Robinson's jaw to have him stumbling around the ring. The fight went to full 10 rounds, and Robinson won on points. Acelino Freitas versus Jorge Barrios, 2003, round 11. Round number 11. At the start of the round, commentators said this super featherweight fight was a fight of twists and turns, and there were a couple more to go in the 3 minutes of the 11th round. Freitas found himself on the seat of his pants from a left-right from Barrios, and Barrios spent the next minute or so chasing him around the ring. Now Freitas started to see the punches coming, slipped them, and the last punch of the round was a right-hand cannonball from the Brazilian that left Barrios out on his feet. He crashed to the canvas, and Freitas finished him in the next round. Nigel Benn versus Iran Barkley, 1990, round 1. Okay. Now Ben raced from his corner to smash Barkley with a right hand, and seconds later, he was on the floor. The next 30 seconds belonged to the American. He had been retreating on rubbery legs with a left hook, and he kept him on the ropes with jolting shots. Now, while dodging punches, Ben started to find Barkley's chin with sledgehammer rights. Eventually, Barkley had to give ground, and Ben fired another right to the chin that dropped him, adding another shot while he was on his knees. And Ben knew another knockdown would finish the fight, and he went for broke and got the finish. Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko, 2017, round number 5. Trainer Robert McCracken told Joshua to get in first with his right hand in the 5th round. He did just that, and Klitschko was hurt. As Joshua kept the punches coming, Klitschko desperately tried to grab hold of him, but Joshua found room to operate, and he kept punching, and Klitschko slid to his knees. He immediately picked himself up, but he still looked dazed, and Joshua had 2 minutes left in the round to finish him. But Joshua could not find the veteran's chin cleanly again and slipped the left hook. But the next shot had Joshua on rubbery legs and on the brink of defeat. Carl Thompson versus Ezra Sellers, 2001, round number 2. Round number 2. Now, both cruiserweight bangers were on the floor in the first round, and the drama continued in the second. Thompson rocked Sellers, and the American southpaw opened up with a volley of punches to drop him. Now, Thompson was stiff-legged when the fight resumed and looked a clean punch away from finishing the fight. From out of nowhere, Sellers connected with a right hand, and Thompson was down in desperate trouble and only just made it through the last 30 seconds to the bell. And Sellers went on to secure a knockout in the fourth round. Fidel Bassa versus Dave McAuley, 1987, round 9. Would you believe it? Asked the BBC's commentator Harry Carpenter after the 9th round. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It goes one way, then the other. There had been 3 knockdowns in the previous 8 rounds. McAuley scoring 2 of them against the flyweight belt holder. Now, McAuley looked in trouble in the 9th round until he rallied to drop Bassa twice. There would be no Irish fairy tale, however, as Bassa forced the 13th round stoppage. Archie Moore versus Yvonne Durrell, 1958, round 5. Now, fighting a couple of months before his 45th birthday, Moore was down 3 times in the first and was sent crashing down again in the 5th round by a crushing right hand to the jaw. Now, Moore was on rubber legs when the fight restarted and decided to slug his way out of trouble. Having the Canadian staggering in the closing seconds of the round with a thumping right hand, Moore pulled through with an 11th round knockout. Larry Holmes versus Tim Witherspoon, May 20th, 1983, round 9. Now, midway through the 9th round, Holmes knew he had to fight back, or he would lose the heavyweight championship to Witherspoon. Now, Witherspoon had dazed Holmes with a clobbering right hand, hurt him to the body, and then sent him wobbling into a corner. Holmes put everything he had into a right hand, and it crashed onto Witherspoon's chin. The challenger was stopped in his tracks, and Holmes was back in the fight. The to-and-fro action went on until the bell, and Holmes ran out a tight points winner after 15 rounds. Miguel Cotto versus Ricardo Torres, 2005, round 1. Now, we could have picked any of the 7 rounds in this fight. Well, we'll go for the first round. Cotto dropped the Colombian and was in badly shaken himself. Cotto was dropped for the first time in his career in the 2nd round. Instead, after coming through a 5 knockdown, 7 round fight war, I had to win. Nigel Benn versus Anthony Logan, 1988, round 2. The Jamaican had been down in the first round and swaying and ready to fall in the next round. Out of desperation, Ben swung a right hand that missed by a mile. Then he slung a left hook, and Logan went down for the full count, round 2. Leroy Miller versus Tasanda Muddy, 1985, round 12. This cruiserweight fight with the Rocky II ending, Champion Murphy and Muddy had the same idea at the same time. They both let go right hands, and they both hit the floor. Murphy struggled up at 6. Muddy stayed down. John David Jackson versus Jorge Castro, 1994, round 9. The opening 2 minutes of the 9th round were much the same as the previous 8, as Jackson, more or less, did as he pleased with the Argentine. Now, commentators were wondering how much more Castro could take, and then out of nowhere, he dropped Jackson with a left hook. Jackson was down twice more, and then the fight was over. Jake LaMotta versus Laurent Darthil, 2. Second fight between these two. 1950, round 15. Up on the scorecards after 14 rounds, Darthil went on the attack at the start of the last round and ran into trouble. LaMotta detonated a left hook off his chin that left the Frenchman on the brink. LaMotta kept the punches coming until Darthil was laid out over the bottom rope, where he was counted out with only 13 seconds left in the fight. James Kirkland versus Alfredo Angulo, 2011, round 1. Dropped in the opening seconds, Kirkland was soon under fire again, and the referee told him to start throwing back or the fight would be over. So he did start throwing back and landed enough punches to drop Angulo before the bell, and Kirkland went on to win the fight in the 6th round. Israel Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez 2, 2007, round number 3. Now Vasquez got his redemption for a 7-round defeat the hard way. The 3rd round was the most action-packed before Vasquez got the stoppage in the 6th round. Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield 1, 1992, round number 10. Okay, let me see what's happening in the chat. Still on 3 likes. And I gave myself 6. That's strange. Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield 1. Now, the force of Bowe's right hand connecting with Holyfield's chin left him seeing stars. And Bowe knew he was dazed and threw everything at Holyfield. But when he had emptied his tank, Holyfield was still there, determined to get his own back. Now, Bowe had his legs stiffened briefly before pulling himself together to slug with Holyfield, and they swapped power punches until the bell. Bowe dropped Holyfield in the 11th round, and he won on points. Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 1, 2019, round 3. Get this when he had Anthony Joshua crawling around the ring, remember? Now Joshua was first to strike, dropping Ruiz for the first time in his professional career. I was like, what the hell just happened? I had to get him back, said Ruiz later. Around 15 seconds after the fight resumed, Ruiz had Joshua on the floor. Ruiz had around 90 seconds left in the round to finish Joshua, and there were 11 seconds remaining when he lost a furious 2/5 attack. AJ went down again, dragged himself up, and the bell rang before either could throw another punch. And Ruiz eventually finished him off. Okay, winding down. Got something else good coming too. Sack. Oh my goodness. I don't know what that is. It's one of the ones I got to put in there for y'all. Look at this name. S-O-M-S-A-K. That's the first name. Sack. I got that one. S-I-T-H. It's one of the 50-letter last names. C-H-A-T. C-H-A-L. Got about 10 more letters. W-A-L. There you go. Y'all figure that out. I'm going to call him Sack. We're talking about him. Okay? He was fighting, oh my goodness, the next one is just as bad. Okay, Sack, where's this guy? M-A-H-Y-A-R. We got like 100 letters between their two combined names. But M-O-N-S-H-I-P-O-U-R. Okay, so this is going to be SS versus MM, March 18th, 2006, round 10. Now, SS spent the opening 2 minutes of the round wobbling on the brink of defeat before he slung a southpaw left that stunned MM. He gave him hope. That kept churning out punches. SS kept churning out punches until the referee stepped in. So SS stopped him. 10th round. Challenge E. Park versus Goody Espadas, 1979, round 1. South Korean Park was the boxer, Espadas the puncher, going into this flyweight title fight. The Park found himself on the floor from a left hook inside 40 seconds into the fight. And rather than box through the crisis, he went toe-to-toe with the Mexican. The tactic worked. Espadas was down twice in between moments of success before the bell. Now Park finished the job in the second round. Frankie Lyles versus Tim Littles, 1996, round 3. Down in each of the opening 2 rounds and badly cut, Littles raced from his corner at the start of the 3rd round, smashed southpaw Lyles out of the ring. He dragged himself back in the battle and was shaken up several times before walking Littles into a right hook that proved to be the finish of the fight. Tony Zell versus Rocky Graciano won, 1946, round 1. Graciano banged in some hard shots early in the round to bring a response from the middleweight champion Zell, right? And then Zell dropped Graciano for a count of 5 with the left hook, and Rocky blazed back to have Zell groggy at the bell. But Zell went on to claim a 6-round knockout. Michael Moorer versus Bert Cooper, 1992, round 1. Cooper came out firing rights at the favorite and pounded him to his knees. Moorer soon found himself pinned on the ropes on the resumption, but he beat Cooper to the punch with a southpaw right hook that dropped him. There was still a minute to go when the referee waved them together again, and Cooper only just stayed on his feet until the bell, helped by his corner. And Moorer ended up winning the fight in the 5th round. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier 3, 1975, round 14. Now the question at the start of the 14th round was, who has more fight left in them? The half-blind Frazier or the exhausted Ali? For a minute or so, it looked like Frazier. He had Ali on the ropes, trying to muddle and hold his way through the round. Ali was able to drag a few punches out of his aching arms, and he knocked Frazier onto his heels. Frazier was still dangerous with his left hook, but the rest of the round belonged to Ali. There would be no 15th round. Eddie Futch decided Frazier couldn't take anymore. Okay, this is the final 10. Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman, 1974, round number 8. Round number 8. Legend has it, Ali told Foreman before the start of round 8, now it's my turn. Ali waited until the final 20 seconds of the round to take it. Until then, he was focused on dodging and blocking Foreman's bombs. But when the weight and speed started to leave Foreman's punches, Ali sensed the time was right to counterattack. He spotted Foreman's jaw was exposed and found it with a chopping right hand. He soon added 2 more, and Foreman was on his way to the canvas for the full count. The informant said after the fight, he hit Ali with a punch that nobody had ever, amateur or pro, stood up under in round 7. And Ali just whispered to him, "That's all you got, George." And George said that's when he realized, this ain't what I thought it was. Round 7. Now, Ken Norton versus Larry Holmes, 1978, round 15. That was a barn burner there. Now, there comes a time in a fight when you have to ask yourself, should I go that extra mile, wrote Holmes in his autobiography. Part of your body is telling you, I'm tired of taking these shots. But another part is saying, if you have the heart of a champion, now's the time to show it. Holmes and Norton went the extra mile in the last 3 minutes in round 15. With the fight in the balance, and they engaged in what Norton described as an extremely violent round. Holmes won a split decision. Marco Antonio Barrera versus Eric Morales won. First fight between those two. 2000. These are the best rounds of all time. Morales came out for the 5th round of this clash of super bantamweight titleists, intending to stand off and jab. That is what he did, until Barrera cracked him on the chin. Morales wasn't going to let him get away with that, and reeled off a burst of punches that had Barrera badly dazed. Now Barrera switched back on to unload a volley of his own shots. It had Morales backpedaling. Morales went on to win a split decision. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, 2018, round 12. Now, Wilder thought the fight was over after he dropped Fury for the 2nd time. I seen this man's eyes roll in the back of his head, Wilder said. I'm like, it's over. Now, as the round reached 6, as the count reached 6, Fury started to stir. And by 9, Fury was back on his feet. He had 2 minutes, 3 seconds to survive. And given Wilder's power, that looked very unlikely. Now, Fury saw most of Wilder's punches coming after that. And once he sensed his tank was emptying, he sensed Wilder's tank was emptying, Fury launched a counterattack. The crowd screamed in disbelief as Fury survived the round. Top 5 rounds of all time. Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti won. May 18th, 2002, round number 9. Round 9. Ward dug in a left hook to the body, his trademark punch that made Gatti step back. And when the pain wouldn't go away, he took a knee. Ward launched left hands at Gatti when the fight restarted. And he seemed certain to go down, but he didn't go down. And then he started punching back. Ward was in trouble in the corner until he started slamming punches off Gatti's chin to have him groggy at the belt. Yeah, that was round number 9. Yeah, Gatti survived the liver punch. Yep. Jack Dempsey versus Louis Firpo, 1923, round 1. This was wild. 3 minutes, 10 knockdowns. Dempsey scored 7 of them and ended the round dazed outside the ropes, but he made it back in just before the bell. Now, the KO started in the opening seconds. Dempsey ran across the ring and straight onto a right hand that made him touch down. Up before the referee could start to count, he swayed into Firpo, repeatedly smashing his Argentine challenger to the floor 7 times altogether. Firpo only just beat the count after being dropped for a fourth time and following a fifth knockdown. The wild bull of the Pampas started to fight back. He swung rights off Dempsey until he dropped down. But again, Dempsey straightened himself up before the referee could count and carried on his onslaught. The Firpo went down twice more before the round ended. 10 knockdowns in round one. And I think it was another one when Dempsey finished him in round two. Yep. George Foreman versus Ron Lyle, 1976, round number 4. 3 minutes of astonishing back and forth and back again. Heavyweight drama. First, Lyle opened up to drop Foreman. Foreman hauled himself up and decided to punch his way out of trouble. Both took clean thumps on the chin during a crazy exchange that ended when Lyle hit the floor. Foreman had around a minute to finish Lyle, and the end seemed only seconds away after Lyle was badly dazed by a volley of left hooks. Somehow Lyle stayed on his feet, and when he fired back, Foreman started to come apart. Lyle followed up. He punched Foreman to the floor just before the bell. The Foreman ended up stopping the fight in the next round. Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Hearns, round 1. That was a wall, but that was round of the year. I missed one. Jose Luis Castillo versus Diego Corrales, 2005, round 10. That might be the single most extraordinary comeback within a world title fight to win a fight that has ever happened, claimed Hall of Fame broadcaster Al Bernstein after watching Corrales pull off his miracle. Now, both were bruised and cut after 9 hard-fought rounds. And early in the 10th, Corrales dipped into a left hook and landed on the seat of his pants. His gum shield came out, giving him some priceless extra seconds to clear his head. The break didn't appear to do Corrales any good. Seconds after the fight restarted, Castillo had him over for a second time. Again, Corrales lost his mouthpiece, deliberately spitting it out. For that, he was docked a point, and the break helped revive him again. Corrales landed a couple of shots, gave him the heart to ignore what Castillo was throwing at him and keep punching. Both took clean shots, and it was Castillo who gave ground, wobbling into the ropes. Corrales smacked several more shots to the chin until the referee decided he couldn't take any more. Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Hearns, April 15th, 1985, round 1. This is the greatest round of all time. Marvin Hagler and Thomas the Hitman Hearns. Donnie Williams. What's up, Donnie Williams? We're down to the final of the greatest round of all time. Appreciate everybody that stuck with me through that. Okay. I got something else good for you after this. But the greatest round of all time, Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Hearns, April 15th, 1985, round 1. The referee Richard Steele said, when the bell rang in the first round, I went back to my neutral corner and said to myself, what the hell is happening? I could not believe these guys would come out and fight like that. More than 3 decades on, fans watch the opening 3 minutes of the war on YouTube and find themselves thinking the same. Now, Hagler started it. Racing from his corner, he tossed a southpaw right hook at Hearns' chin. Hearns wanted to box behind his jab, but had to fight to keep Hagler off him. And the ferocity of the champion's attacks went up a notch or two after a deep cut opened on his forehead. Hagler pinned Hearns to a corner and threw everything at him. Hearns threw everything back. The doctor examined Hagler's cut in the third, and sensing his title was slipping away, he launched an all-or-nothing attack that ended the fight. Yeah, Hagler got him out in the third round. Hearns broke his hand in the first round. If it went any distance, I don't know how could he have won without that. That's one of his main parts of his attack, that right hand. But Hagler ended in round 3, the greatest round of all time. Now, which boxer had the most devastating right hand cross in boxing history? We're going to talk about devastating right hand crosses. And which boxer had the best in boxing history right now? Okay? I think I got 10 boxers with the most devastating right hand crosses in boxing history. Where is it? Here we go, right there. All right. Which boxer had the most devastating right hand cross? See that right cross? Hearns had a pretty good one, for sure. Let's talk about it. Okay, first, what is a right cross? Now, a cross, also generally known or referred to as a straight, is a punch usually thrown with the dominant hand. The instant an opponent leads with his opposite hand. Now, the blow crosses over the leading arm, hence its name. It is a power punch, like an uppercut or a hook, as opposed to a probing or leading punch, such as a jab. The compo box, which uses a computer to record punches, counts the cross as a power punch. It is notable that straight rights and right crosses are not technically the same punch, though they are generally referred to as the same. Floyd Patterson explained this best in his book, The International Boxing Hall of Fame, Basic Boxing Skills. Floyd said, "The straight right is a straight punch. It goes straight up the middle, between your opponent's guard. The straight right is probably a faster and more powerful punch, but the right cross is used when the situation dictates a different strategy. The right cross takes its name from the fact that it crosses over your opponent's lead hand. It loops slightly, taking a curved path to the target. And when your opponent is lazy in returning his jab to the guard position, you should use a right cross. Or if he uses the peekaboo guard to protect against straight punches, you can catch him with a cross to the temple. Now, right cross is a punch thrown generally by a right-handed fighter or a fighter in a right-handed stance. Now, who were the historical best at a straight or right cross? Okay, let's talk about them. First, oh boy, where's Sonny Liston at? I don't have Sonny Liston. Oh, okay, that's not the right area anyway. There we go. Okay, we're looking at who the best punches at the right cross now. Sonny Liston. Let's talk about Sonny and that right cross. I don't know, Mike. I give myself 6 likes, but I'm stuck on 3. I should have at least 6. I don't understand it. It's crazy. Okay, Sonny Liston. Now, if you want to see a picture-perfect punch, watch the videos of Sonny Liston's 2 knockouts of Floyd Patterson. Both times, the finishing shot was a right cross. Sonny put incredible force into any punch, but his kill shots were left hooks and right crosses. Sonny was also deadly with straight rights once he opened his opponents up with his jab. And Sonny was a much better boxer than generally known. A really first-rate technical boxer who set his opponents up with his 84-inch reach, timing, and thundering jab, and then dropped straight or cross rights on them like ringing a bell. Now, you know, like I was just saying, a jab is like not a power punch. But for Sonny Liston, they should have counted his jab as a power punch. Sonny's jab was a power punch. I told you, I don't know if everybody heard this story, but you see 9 out with it? No. Yeah, I see 3 on mine. Okay, appreciate you, Al Booker. But this story, Sonny was sparring somebody, and I forgot who it was, and they were wearing headgear. And Sonny hit him so hard, it split through the headgear, hit him in the jaw, and knocked out 8 teeth. And guess what? It was a jab. That's why I say Sonny's jab is not counted as a power punch in fights, but for Sonny, the jab should be counted as a power punch. Look, bust the headgear open and hit the guy in the jaw and knocked out 8 teeth, right? And the headgear meant you protect that when you spawn, but not against Sonny Liston. Okay, next, good straight crosser, good straight right crosser, Thomas the Hitman Hearns. Behind that, he had an 80-something inch reach too. And behind that great jab, that right cross was one of his main shots. He come up with that right hand behind that jab. Tommy Hearns, yeah. Now Tommy could drop a right hand straight or crossing over on anyone he fought, like a hammer hitting an anvil. For a welterweight and junior middleweight, Tommy matched any puncher at that weight who ever lived, not named Julian Jackson, who is on this list. Okay. George Foreman was a good right crosser. Yeah, Big George, he had a good right cross. That's the 18th, Donnie, with a jab, with headgear on. But he split right through the headgear. Yeah, I forgot who he was fighting. I'm gonna find that out though. George Foreman, good right crosser. Now what's going on? Y'all still hear me? I don't hear the music. Oh, yes, I do. It's real low. This cast done turned some water on or something. Something was running real loud, too. Turn that water on. Okay, yeah, Big George. We're talking about people with great right cross. Big George. You know, difference between the straight and the cross is the straight comes straight down the middle, splits your opponent's guard, and the cross comes across over top of your opponent's lead hand in a perfect world. Especially when they throw a lazy jab or something. Perfect time for the cross. Big George is next. Okay. He had a great right cross. And okay, thank you, Al Booker. And yeah, Big George right cross normally got him out of there. George in his first career was simply deadly. He had a series of devastating punches, but his short right hand, straight across, could be thrown in an instant and turn the lights out on anyone who was hit squarely by it. I think that's what got Michael Moore in his second career. I got a video on it. I'm gonna look at that. I think it was the right cross. It was the right something that put Moore to sleep, put him down for the count. Yeah, George had a beautiful right cross. And after George, you're talking about right crosses. You got to put the Brown Bomber in there. The Brown Bomber, yeah, beautiful. Joe Louis, as fashioned as Jack Blackburn, was the ultimate hunter-killer boxer. Yeah, Joe was one of the greatest finishers in history. Joe got you in trouble. You didn't usually survive that. Joe would stalk his opponents and use combinations to pick them apart. Joe's straight right and his cross were his money punches, and it was a large reason for his 11-year run as undisputed heavyweight champion. Here, Joe Louis, deadly with the right hand, especially the right cross. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. I don't know what she was doing out there. It was some noise. I couldn't hear nothing. So it was getting ready to go out. Well, let me be quiet. We already went out once this week. Okay, there we go. Next after George is, after Joe Louis, is Julian Jackson. And what am I doing? Just leave stuff alone and go on. Julian Jackson. That ain't even Julian Jackson. That's Ernie Shavers. No, Ernie Shavers is next. Yeah, Ernie Shavers. Right. That's after he knocked Ali down. Probably with a right cross. You know, 1-2. Was it a 1-2? AB, yeah. Got him up out of there, the old 1-2. That's the most simplest and the most effective combination of all, the old 1-2. Jab cross. The simplest and most effective. You get a good 1-2 in there with the right power. That's all she wrote. Ernie Shavers. Now, Ernie is much better known for his overhand right, but his straight crosses were vicious, too. And you can say that an overhand is merely a cross that torques down. Yeah, basically. Yeah, but just overhand. Whereas the cross comes across, the overhand, torques downward. I think that's what Marquez got Manny with, wasn't it? Overhand. Manny tried that jab, feint, and Marquez ducked under that second jab and came over the top, and that was it for Manny. Yeah. But anyway, Ernie was the ultimate one-punch knockout artist. I think he had the most power in history. Ernie went into every fight looking to knock his opponent out. Yeah, Ernie wasn't trying to do no boxing. Ernie said, I don't get paid for overtime. Went into every fight looking for the knockout, which he did in 68 of 74. 68 of 74. Man, I don't know why every time I hear something, I got to fire up the knockout. I don't know why I do that, but I'm doing it. That knockout rate is 91.8%. I got to leave them knockout rates alone. 91%. Yeah, 74 fights, 68 knockouts. And he went in there looking for that. And like I was saying, most of the time he got it, right? Ken Norton dismissed Ernie before their fight, saying, Ernie is very mechanical and predictable. Ernie knows his only chance against me is to come out and try to bum me out, which is exactly what Ernie did to Ken Norton with that deadly right hand. Ken called it. He said the only chance Ernie got against him was to come out and knock him out. That's exactly what Ernie did. Ken should have put some money on it, Ernie knocking him out. Because that's what happened. He called it. You don't see too many people call their own knockout many times. Well, he didn't say it was going to happen, but he said that's the only chance Ernie had, and that's what happened. Julian Jackson. So Ken should have put some money on Ernie in the knockout when they fought. But then it would have been a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, Ken threw the fight, so I'm glad he didn't. Julian Jackson. Now, Jackson was 55-6-0 while fighting in the 1980s and 90s, knocking out 49 of his opponents. Oh, here we go. His right crosses and right hooks were the reason 49 men went out on their shields in the 61 fights. I mean, didn't go out, but went out on their shields in the 61 fights. So what was it? And they got to stop doing this to me. Julian had 55 wins in 49 knockouts for a knockout rate of 89%, right up there at 90%. Not bad at all for Julian. Next right crosser is the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran. When Roberto was a lightweight, he truly was Hands of Stone. His short right cross was among the most devastating punches ever for the lightweight division. Another fighter whose boxing acumen has been much forgotten. Roberto would drop that right and end the night. The Hands of Stone. That's right. He would drop that right and end the night. Roberto Duran. The Mongoose / Old Mongoose had a good one too, Archie Moore. There's Archie on the left. Now the Old Mongoose could and did knock out his 132 opponents, second all time, with every punch in the book. But his straight rights and crosses were things of beauty. He knocked down Rocky Marciano with a right cross that would have put most fighters to sleep, would have ended most fights, right? Unfortunately, Rocky was not one of those fighters. He got up. But Archie put him, the Old Mongoose put him down though. Jack Dempsey is next. Good right cross. Jack Dempsey, the Manasseh Mauler, was better known for his hook, but he was a bit Tyson-like in that he was faster than the heavyweights of his day, and he could do damage quickly. Like when he knocked out the 6'6", Fred Fulton in 18 seconds with a right hook and a right cross. Wow, a right hook and a right cross. 18 seconds. That was a fast one there. And Vladimir Klitschko had a good one. Right cross. Vladimir was a great boxer. Yeah, Vlad, if only Vlad could have taken a punch as well as he gave one, he might have been the best of all time. Now, before he died in 2012, I get ready to say Vladimir Klitschko ain't dead. Before he died in 2012, legendary trainer Emanuel Stewart summed up Vlad's power, especially his right hand. Stewart said, "He's the most accurate single punch knockout guy I have ever seen." And he had Thomas Hearns, Lennox Lewis, so that's high praise. Saying that about Vladimir Klitschko, the best single punch knockout guy I have ever seen. Okay, from Emanuel Stewart. He said, "A guy can be completely fine, not hurt at all, and Vladimir can put his lights out with that one shot from that right hand." Now, this list could easily have included Alexis Arguello, Wilfredo Gomez, Michael Spinks, and more, right? But the right cross, yeah, great punch, and those are some punchers who had great right crosses. Yep. Yeah, Joe Louis had an overall devastating right hand though. Overall, all those guys we just talked about. Joe Louis could arguably be number one, but I think it's Sonny Liston as far as the cross. Sonny is very underrated. He don't get enough credit for his boxing abilities at all. Okay, Al Burger said, "I might have to give Vlad top 5 straight rights all time." Yeah, I agree. I think he's underrated. Yeah, for that right. Vladimir Klitschko. Had a good jab too, setting it up, Al Burger, remember? Had a great jab. Yeah, yes he did. The complaint on him was that's like he clinched too much, you know. But yeah, he didn't have a good chin, so you know. Probably was hurt a lot of them times he was clinching, I guess. I don't know. but he had a great right hand. Yes, he did. Let's see what else we got here for these last. Don't forget, tomorrow is boxing in the States, Utah, and Friday is the life and career of Eric Morales. Yeah. Eric Morales. Who are some of the best commentators of all time in boxing history? Okay. Let's take a look at some of them. Now, some of the most highly regarded boxing commentators throughout history include Al Bernstein. We talk about commentators, ring announcers, Al Bernstein, Michael Buffer, and Jim Lantley. Now, a lot of lists Jim Lantley as the top analyst, known for his polished delivery and ability to let the action speak for itself. He was good. Now, Buffer, known for his iconic "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" catchphrase, is praised for his charismatic introductions and ability to command an audience. Al Bernstein, a veteran commentator, is recognized for his extensive knowledge and experience in boxing. And that guy on the Zone, he tried to come up with some kind of catchphrase. Now the fight starts now is good, but that from the four corners of the world to the four corners of the ring, you need to drop that because that sounds tacky. From the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring, he need to drop that, man. I know everybody would like to have a catchphrase like Buffer. Let's get ready to rumble, but the guy on the Zone need to drop that part. Just the fight starts now is good. I like that, but that from the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring, that sounds kind of phony. Y'all agree with that? He need to drop that part. That sounds tacky, man. Now the fight starts now. I like that. That should be his phrase. Just drop the four corners of the world to the four corners of the ring part and say the fight starts now. Now that's real good. But that other part, man, that's tacky as shit. Yeah. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. What's up, RP? How you doing? We're just talking about some commentators now. Some of the great commentators in boxing. And I was just saying that guy on Zone, I forgot his name, with the hair. I just said the guy with the hair. He says, from the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now. Now the first part is tacky. Just say the fight starts now. That's great there. But that other part, man, drop that. That sounds crazy. Just say, ladies and gentlemen, the fight starts now or something. But anyway, Al Bernstein, right? The Las Vegas Sun notes that Bernstein has been a prominent figure in boxing for 30 years. He worked for ESPN for 23 years, and then Showtime. Is he on Prime now? I don't think they picked Al up. I don't think so. Michael Buffer. The impact of Michael Buffer's voice and catchphrase on audiences' excitement and his ability to deliver memorable introduction. And Jim Lantley, his style, which is both polished and relaxed, allowing the action. Other notable commentators and analysts. Paulie Malignaggi, a former what happened? Paulie Malignaggi, he's good on that pro box. A former boxer, he's known for his insightful analysis of boxing strategies and weaknesses, right? Mauro Ronaldo is known for his aggressive and passionate delivery. He's on Prime. He was with Showtime with Al Bernstein and the guy named the boxer. Got one eye, I think. He had the bad retina. He's on Prime 2 now. I can't think of the guy's name. Put in the lower weight class. Called the Fight for. He was on Showtime. Now he's on Prime. Ring announcers. Now, while not strictly commentators, ring announcers like Jimmy Lennon Jr., Cody Big Mo Moments, and David Diamante. That's the one on the Zone. Also consistent, crucial to the boxing experience. David need to drop that from the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring partner. Yeah. Let's say the fight starts now, David. Yeah. I love that. That first part now. Yeah, that's not too good. Michael Buffer, he's about the best. Jimmy Lennon Jr. was good too. His father was also a ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Sr. They look just alike too, man. So let's rank the best commentators in boxing today. We got like 20 minutes. Let's look at the best commentators in boxing today. Oh, hell no. I'm going right past Dan Raphael. Brian Kenny? Nah, I don't like that list. Max Kellerman used to be pretty good. It's kind of old. Yeah, Max used to be on there with Stephen A. Yeah, he used to be pretty good. Max was kind of like a love or hate type of guy, among the fans. But he was the best post-match in-ring interviewer, way better than Jim Gray. Yeah, Max was about the best post-fight interviewer, right? You ain't gonna always agree with anybody, but Max was pretty good at the post-fight. Jim Gray was terrible. Thomas Hill, and what's up, T Hill? I didn't know you was around, T Hill. What's happening? How you doing today? Thomas Hill in the building. I'm gonna put the link in. Hey, we got 15 minutes. T Hill, where you been? You was listening and didn't say nothing? Okay. Link coming in a minute or two. It'll be in by quarter of. We could have 15 minutes to chop it up, okay? Can I have till quarter of to get the link in? Can I get till quarter of? Give me a quarter of. Thank you very much. How's everybody enjoying their hump day? Oh, shoot. I got a cooler in there, man. I got water. Best thing for you, H2O. Like I said, with a big chunk of ice in the middle. Get the link in. We're going to chop it up. Hope everybody enjoyed the rounds today. Hope it didn't bore y'all today. That's my greatest fear, boring everybody and everybody leave. One time used to be just me and Thomas Hill in there. They used to come on at night. We talked for like 5 hours one night, just talking about sports, not just about sports in general. And then when I came to 2, I think Mike Mazik only missed one show so far. Mike Graham, Al Booker, everybody, RP, Donnie. Appreciate y'all 1,000,000%. Let me shut up for a minute so I get this link in. I'm gonna be quiet for like 30 seconds. Finish this up. Okay. Okay, I got it. Make sure my I's are dotted or the T's crossed. With the T's crossed or the I's dotted? I's dotted, T's crossed. Yeah. That's right. Oh, shoot. Man. Who fights this weekend? Is this Gabriela Fundora weekend? I think. Where's that next week? I know 2 weeks from tomorrow is Ryan and Rolly. Great card. That's the one with Teofimo and Barboza and Devin and Jose Ramirez. Now that's a great card because Teofimo is like 3 fights down. And Teofimo uses the headlines. So anytime you get a card with him, he's the 3rd fighter on the card. You got Ryan and Rolly, the headliner, Devin, and Jose Ramirez is the co-main, and Teofimo is 3 fights in. So you know that's a great card, man. Yeah. And that's the 2nd, May 2nd. That's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah, 2 weeks away. I think Gabriela Fedora is tomorrow. He's defending her flyweight belt, undisputed. She's the youngest undisputed champion. And she's 5'9", just like her brother. 6'7", 154. She's 5'9" at flyweight, man. Wow. She must look like a stick woman when she weighs, but she gets down there and looks comfortable and good fighting there. You know, she's undisputed there at 112. And then we got the other guy, Espinoza is like 6'1" at 126. 126. What was it? 126, I believe. 6'1". Wow. I would like to see him and Nick Ball fight, because Nick Ball is like 4'11". He might be more than that, but him and Espinoza, wouldn't that be something? 6'1" against like 5'1". I think he got like a foot on Nick Ball almost. Nick Ball ain't that tall. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? They both champions at 126. I would love to see that matchup. Man. And Espinoza likes to mix it up. He don't always use that reach advantage. Always got the reach advantage in height, but he likes to mix it up and fight. Yeah. But of course, we like to see him and Robisi running back, because of how the last fight ended. You know, Robisi said an elbow got him, and he was seeing double, so he had to stop. And the referee said it was a punch, but I don't know. Just run it back. That'll solve everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nick Ball, yeah, 5'4". But wouldn't that be something, Alberger? Espinoza's like 6'1", and then against 5'4". Wow. Almost got him by a foot. That would really be something. Let's see how that plays out. Nick would have to get close. And Espinoza would probably let him, because Espinoza loved to fight. He loved to mix it up. So I don't think Nick had to worry that much about that reach and stuff, because Espinoza don't really usually use it. Right up in there and fights it out with you. So that would be good. They both champions too at 130, right? I mean 126. So why don't they go ahead and make that fight? Don't forget, tomorrow is the Boxing in the States series continues with Utah. And we're going to find a little boxing history in Utah and some other significant events. And we're going to have some boxers from Utah. And then Friday, we're going to have the life and career of Eric Morales. It's a good one, too. I was looking at it yesterday. A good long one. I like those good long ones. I don't have to come up with no plan B for the last 45 minutes of the show. Yep, that's Friday. Halfway through this week of boxing history. Getting good outside. I think the weatherman said last night it's supposed to be like 80 Friday. 80 degrees. Springtime is here. Yeah, 5'4". Yeah, I was just joking when I said 4'11", Albert. I was trying to be funny. I knew it was 5 something. I was thinking more like 5'2", but 5'4" is sound about right. But still, against 6'1", that's still almost a foot, Like what, 3 inches short of a foot? What is that, like 8 inches? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6 foot. Yeah, 8 inches. 8 inches, and you can imagine the reach. Let me find out the reach differential between those two guys. Nick Ball and Stephen Espinoza. 8 inches in height. And Espinoza got box record, tell me all that, or Wikipedia. Wikipedia is pretty good on the records. They go a little bit more in detail on the records than BoxRec do. But BoxRec is easier because it's more condensed. Wikipedia is kind of spread out, like, you know, you gotta like really search. But yeah, they give you every BoxRec does too, but you gotta, you know. But they both good. I'm going to Wikipedia right now to get these reaches. Espinosa first. I can't get it. Let me go to BoxRec like I should have in the first damn place. And I'm not talking about what's his name? Rafael Espinosa. It gave me Stephen Espinosa, the daggone man, you was Showtime. It's Rafael Espinosa. Was I saying Stephen all this time? Y'all knew who I meant. I meant Rafael Espinosa. Ain't that his name? Yeah, there it is, right there, BoxRec. Okay, so Rafael Espinosa reach is is 74 inches. Okay. So Nick Ball reach is, we got 74 for Rafael. And for Nick Ball, we already got 8 inches in height in Espinosa's favor. Oh, I got Wikipedia for Ball. His reach is 65. Woo. So we got 8 inches in height for Espinosa and 9 inches in reach over Nick Ball. No wonder Nick Ball, I don't know whose fault it is, but wow. I don't know. Nick would get it, I guess. I don't know. But Espinosa, they probably want him to come to the UK because, you know, once those UK fighters get a belt, they hate to come out of their country and fight somebody. But Espinosa has a belt too, so I wouldn't go there if I was him, you know. Mm-mm. But yeah, we had 8 inches in height for Espinosa and 9 inches in reach over Nick Ball. Wow. But like I was saying, Espinosa don't use his height and reach a lot. He likes to get rid of it in there and mix it up, you know, in close. But I think with that much, you got to use it, man, you know, with that much height and reach. 9 inches. That would make it very difficult for Nick, you know. Raymond Ford didn't even have nowhere near that, you know. Nick pulled that one out too. Yes, he did. What's up, T Hill?
You got the best hand, Cat. Tell me.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just chilling, talking a little boxing. I was talking about Nick Ball and Espinosa. They both had 126 champions, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That would be interesting. Because I was saying Espinosa has 8 inches in height and 9 inches in reach over him.
Yeah.
You know?
Espinosa
likes to fight inside a lot, though, you know?
Well, I think he's much like Fundora in that regard.
Yeah.
Like, he's really keen with his spatial awareness inside. I mean, got to give him credit for that. It makes it difficult, too, because you really would want the fight to be inside because you don't want him just sitting there keeping you at a distance where you can't do anything.
True.
That's why, like I say, man, and I always say this, prefacing it before pre Robin Givens, you know, Mike Tyson was the way in which you could base on how you break down somebody that has a reach distance on you, a reach advantage on you, because of the way he was effective at sliding the jab and then sliding the counter to get into it to draw his punch. And like I said, that's pre Robin Givens, because when Robin Givens came around here, she and his mom put a vex on him and had him hopped up on medicine and everything like that. So
that was the Kevin Rooney Mike Tyson you talking about, right? The Kevin Rooney Mike Tyson. Yeah.
So, I mean, but it's hard to navigate that spatial distance when you're popping that jab and then firing off of that jab with a straight that's like vicious. But they've accommodated that by getting pretty tight inside. Their inside game is really, really good. So it's like, man, you know, hey, it's a great fight because Nick Ball, he's about getting inside and getting his work off.
That's true. Salute D for the win. D for the win in the building. Salute. Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good one. Who we got this weekend? Is Gabriella Fundora this weekend defending her titles? I think that's Saturday.
I believe so.
Card Friday too. I forgot what it was. Yeah, the 18th. Mm-hmm.
I know I get on Box Live. I could find out for sure.
We 2 weeks away from the big one though. Ryan and Rowley and Devin and
Yeah, that's the one. That's the May 2nd. That's the May 2 review. We call that the May 2 review.
And Tio and Barbosa. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that right there is going to be a lot of clarity in the air regarding fighters and the way that they rebound and the way that they carry themselves. So
that's right.
We're going to see, man. It's going to be interesting. It's a nice lot of fights coming up, man. A lot of good work.
Mm-hmm. It's a good card, man, because I was saying Tio used a headliner and he like the third fight down on that one. You know, Devin and Ramirez is a co-main and Tio was like 3 fights in.
Yeah. I mean, and look, a lot of people, and this is why I want to clear up, man, because I only support the fighters in the boxing, the actual aspect of boxing. I'm really not too worried about, you know, all the other stuff that's surrounding it.
Yeah.
Devin was a headliner. Devin's used to making X amount of money. He took a loss, and in a bad way, and it looked different than what people were accustomed to, and now he's like the number 3 fighter on the matchup, and he's not getting the money that he used to make. So when people say like, yo, bet on yourself and all that other stuff, yeah, doing that does sound good. It sounds like the thing to do. Yeah, but it's not.
Somebody named Al.
It's not what it's cracked up to be, because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Devin took a loss, but he won a lot of the rounds in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the rounds in that fight. And because of such, you got people talking reckless on his name, man, and that's not cool.
No, that's not cool.
That's not cool. Now, his pops talking reckless how he was, that wasn't cool as well neither. You know, and a lot of people got the reservations about Devin because of his behavior.
Yeah,
and you can see that take shape with Norman and his behavior. You know what I'm saying? What he did absolutely to KQ was deplorable. Absolutely deplorable. And then to go on there, you on a show to do an interview for somebody else. You could have went to their show and talk to them about whatever it is you had to talk about. Why you go on somebody else's show? They here to interview you. You talking about what you don't like another man saying, when all they're doing is repeating what you said. You know what I'm saying? That but it's the look these fathers give some of these fighters when they talk a little bit more than what they should. And unfortunately for Devin, it got a lot of people waiting for the fact that, you know, he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he beating all kind of top dogs' tails and sparring and things like that, and how this dude is not as good as he is. He's a C+ fighter, and I'm gonna expose him and all this, and then making a bet on whether or not he make weight, to being the person who used that is the reason why he got done dirty. Like, oh, you didn't come in and make weight, but you made a wager on it. You guys joked about it at the press conference. Mm-hmm. You told him, hey, I'll bet you $750,000 that you don't make the weight. So that means, hey, you hoping that he don't make the weight because you betting a nigga money. And that's almost $1 million. So, I don't know, man. And the fall off was now people don't want to see him. I want to see him. I want to see how he rebounds more so than anything. I really want to see, the shape he is mentally, because I think that's what really took the greatest impact in that ring. I know he only took a few shots, but the few shots did damage. But I want to see him rebound and do well because I'm still looking forward to him matching up against some of the people that he said he wanted to match up with.
Yeah.
One in particular. But man, we as a viewing public, we're so used to looking at people through phones doing weird stuff for likes, comments, and subscriptions that we support this is. Man, a fighter take a loss. They take a loss. That don't make them less of a fighter. What makes you less of a fighter is when you actually say you stand for one thing or you hold to one thing. And then when that one thing meets you, you don't hold to it. You don't stand from it. And that's the only thing that we should ever judge a fighter by. But other than that, what they do in the ring, man, it's a contest. Somebody's going in there and they're going to win. Somebody's going in there and they're going to lose. And sometimes, on the rare occasions, it will be a draw. But they're giving their best in the ring. And that's all we want to see from these people. Them at their best. So I'm happy that Devin is no longer draining himself to make a weight class that he's struggling to make. So we can truly see what he really has to offer, what's in the tank. And that's what I got. I got my man, the professor, up here. So I'm going to acquiesce for him.
It's for a lot. What's up, Al?
What up?
How you doing?
How y'all doing?
Okay, we doing okay today. Oh, that's Al Booker. You know, I didn't know who the hell he was. I see Al. What's that? I said somebody named
That's
Al.
the professor.
I didn't know it was. What's going on, Al Booker?
No, before you let the Al Booker, the professor talk, man, he been checking my ass for the whole week, dog. So I want to first hear him check me.
Nah, you good, bro.
No, that's my guy.
Bro.
What's happening, Al?
I ain't got nothing. Nothing much.
What's good, Al? Talk to us, man. Tell us what's the deal.
I said I got a new guy up here. Did I say
old
that's
guy.
Al Booker, man? Yeah.
That's the professor.
Man. Yeah, I know. What have you had on that fight? I was talking about Al Booker, Espinoza and Ball.
It's a good fight.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think it's a hell of a circus matchup. This is a sideshow.
Yeah, with the size.
Oh yeah, with the size disparity.
Yeah, I would like to see that
posters.
Boys gonna fight on stilts. You said
the fight posters. What that's gonna look like? How they gonna sell it?
I know.
David versus Goliath, or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like Sebastian Pandora just fought what's old buddy's name? That he just fought the dude.
Pandora?
Sebastian, yeah. And it was similar. Like he was looking straight up at my man, like in the face-offs.
What's his name?
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, man.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Yeah, he was. It was he was looking up.
That was funny.
He was back.
Looking straight up. I was like,
yeah, that was.
I know if Ball could get past the jab on old buddy, on Raphael, then it's gonna be a hell of a problem for Raphael. So that's why you want to watch that fight just to see like who could get their style off better, who can impose what they do. Like you said, Raphael doesn't like to fight on the outside. He goes on the inside just like Sebastian. So it might be a Nick Ball easy win.
Yeah,
because he goes in there and fights his style.
You're right, Albert. Yeah.
You just gotta watch those elbows because my man known for throwing some vicious bows.
He got Fabrici, didn't he? You had him seeing double vision.
No, that's a great take though, man. I didn't even think about the way they can build this fight because that is a great build.
I would want to see it just to see how it plays out, with that size difference. That's 8 in height and 9 in reach, That's a lot of size.
And there was one thing I was looking at. You mentioned about the fights this weekend. I had to take a quick look, and there's a lot of fights, man.
There's
a lot of
fights.
Anyone Friday, Al Booker?
Let me check. I think it's all on Saturday.
Saturday,
the 18th.
Yeah.
Saturday's the 19th, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's all. Okay, so we got a Cuban dude. I think that's on. It's in Orlando. Some dude named Brown fighting Friday. Yeah. Some dude named Perro, another Cuban guy. That's Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
But Saturday they got Dalton Smith's back. This is a UK card. They got Dalton Smith's back. Ben Whitaker's back. He's doing that rematch against old buddy Cameron.
Yeah.
So that's on. Gabriella's on. She's defending. this weekend. Warrington's back, Padley's back, Conwell's back, and Vosdick's back.
Yeah.
And Michael Hunter, the body Hunter's back too. And Kovalev.
It's like
this is the redemption tour weekend right here.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a quick turnaround for Padley though, bro. Didn't he fight just like a month ago?
Super quick.
Super. Yeah. What was that, March or February? Wasn't that March?
Yeah.
I still got it pulled up.
The last VR season. Yeah. Yeah, there's a quick turnaround.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it March 3rd or March 1st?
Yeah, I know it was one of those VR seasons.
That's a hell of a turnaround, bro.
Might have been involved in between.
That was February 22nd.
Oh, February 22nd. You're right. It was the last weekend, February.
That's still
My
quick.
bad.
That's
2 month turnaround.
No, that's extremely quick, man. But shout out to Padley, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to Padley. I'm glad he able to get an opportunity, man.
Yeah.
So Boog, man, what do you think about it? Because that's the thing that I really, man, you know, you said something that didn't even get talked about, what you just said. It's like you like to see the style contrast. You see a bigger fighter and a smaller fighter. You want to see how he navigates that and you know, and is able to get his stuff off. That's the main reason why I got pushback for people who say I don't want to see a fight with Shakur because all he do is run. First and foremost, the Mickey Freaky just don't run in the ring. But secondly, dog, as an opponent, if the Mickey Freaky is going to move around in the ring, is he supposed to let you hit him?
Right.
That's his style.
Aren't you supposed to figure out how to get to him?
That's right.
That's what makes you a boxer.
Or you're going to lose.
You know what I'm saying?
You play video games, my brother?
You say that?
You ever play video games? Like,
for sure. You know, yeah.
You know how you do one move and it works. You throw that Hail Mary pass to Randy Moss and you can't stop it. They go, oh, you're cheesing.
Yeah.
You're cheesing. Like,
cheesing. Yeah.
Stop it. Do something about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not my job to make your job easy.
Brett, bet. I'm glad you didn't made that, bro. Like, you know the Rams back in the day when they had all them cats on their team?
Oh, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt,
Bruce and them, Marshall Faulk, Trung candidate, and all them. I played this one dude. He was a Rams fan, man, and on Madden. He was kicking like my boys. I whooped them so bad, man. You know what I'm saying? When they would get one victory, it was like they got 8 or 9. I was whooping them that bad, bro. And like I would tell them, like, yo, because it was so many people wanting to play. 21 donut in any sport was a wrap. So if I got 3 touchdowns on you, it was it, dog. You got to pass the stick. So I would tell niggas, man, by the end of the first quarter, I'm gonna 21 you. Right. You know what? Halftime, I'm gonna have you 21. First quarter, I would do stuff like that, and I would get their ass out of that. So when they did beat me, it was like they beat me 10 times. But there was this one dude who he was playing against that he lived in the neighborhood with, and this dude was a Ram fan, and that dude would like put Trung candidate at the tight end, and you know switch everything out, and he would put all the speed out there because you know they was the fastest team on there. Everybody over a 95, and he was like that. We can't stop it, man. I keep telling him, dog, that's cheating. I said, bro, I wish that nigga would do that to me. I said, wherever his Trung candidate is, pressure's coming from there. Right. Pressure's coming from there. Because I know his ass can't block. Yeah, he can run. Yep. He could probably catch, but he can't block. So if that nigga's not catching passes every gown, his ass is getting dominated. So wherever Trung candidate was on the side of the field, I lined up as the defender right there. Swarm his ass, threw his ass down, sack. Anytime I run, sack. It was a stop for loss. I whooped that nigga so bad. My dude was like, bro, I ain't never got beat like that before. I said, bro, you over there cheating, dog. You trying to put running backs at a tight end? Yeah. You gonna take advantage of that matchup if I got a badass matchup on a linebacker? You think I'm gonna let my linebacker stick his ass? Hell nah. Mm-hmm. He's getting doubled. I'll take my chances with making a play with myself because you know you could switch when they throw the ball on a defender or that's a receiver. But I'm not gonna let my linebacker stick this nigga because he's gonna blow right by his ass. But he's gonna check his ass, and then the safety's coming up on him. What are you gonna do when he's not in the out route though? He's gonna have to block somebody, and he ain't blocking me, dog. I'm sorry. So yeah, you gotta figure it out, dog. And that's what I was telling them. I was like, bro, so you think Yeah, you got to stop it. It's not on him for you to say, all right, that's enough, man. I got to take him out. However he plays is how he plays. You have to make the adjustment to how he plays. That's why I love the style that Bruce Lee said. Like, you got to be water in all things, because water adjusts to whatever it is. It becomes whatever it is. It becomes what's necessary to move or to destroy, to crash, to do whatever. You got to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you right about that, Al Booger. That's why I like it, dog. And that's why I'm not mad at people who say, like, I want to see that fight, dog. That fight shows who really is the guy. Yeah, if you in there and he's super tall, you super small, you still fighting at the same division. Let's find a way to get it done.
The only problem with that fight right now, is Shakur's hands, bro.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If his hands can't go, he's going to lose. That's it.
Yeah, and that's why I don't. You're right about that, Al Booger, and that's why I don't, like, why would I want to see the fight right now? Clearly, like, he can probably beat a Padley, as he clearly did, because Padley's not giving him something that he really truly got to worry about. But if somebody's giving him something he's got to worry about, and he's going to have to use his hands to keep him off of him, that's not going to be in his best interest, bro. So I wouldn't want to see that fight. Just like I didn't want to see him fight Devin Haney at 35. Devin Haney was done at 35. There was no more 35 for him in that body.
Yeah, after that Cambosis way in that last.
So why would you push for that? And he knew that offering that offer. That's why when people say he could have took the offer, the nigga wasn't trying to give him an offer that he would take.
It was a lot of.
He was just trying to look like I gave you an offer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like I know Al Booger, my guy. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't watch his work, and I know he's worth $85,000, but man, I only want to pay that nigga like $20,000. You think Al Booger's gonna want to take $20,000 when he knows he's worth $85,000? His work is that quality? Nah. But I can at least say, hey, I gave him a chance. He chose to turn it down.
Which they did. That's what they said, you know.
And he never turned it down. He said, we'll just go to purse bid and I'll take whatever they give me.
Right.
And we know this happens because we can segue into the Norman debacle, fiasco. They only made one legit offer before the damn, what's the name? They pushed back the purse bid so that they can make an offer. They made the offer, they refused. There was no counter offer in time before they initiate or activated the purse bid. So everything that transpired after that could not be discussed or negotiated or carried out. It could be discussed, but not carried out and negotiated. So that was just billing for the fight in the future, because both parties was aware of this. They posturing for us, clamoring for us, so we can have the entry to gauge it to see if it's worth money. But there was never going to be no fight. Go ahead.
Talking about Boots and Norman?
Yeah, Boots and Norman. It was the same thing.
I heard they offered.
I got there because his hand was hurt. Huh?
I heard that the match would make 3 offers to the dude. And the
No. Al Booger, they did. But the other offers was after the purse bid. And after the purse bid, there could be no fight. They had to fight that right now.
That. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, I thought after that last offer, Eddie Hearn was like, nah, we done. We out of here. You're saying they still made an offer?
No, they still made the offer. So they were doing it back and forth through social media. Now, you remember it's all through social media, right? Mm-hmm. And they're not going to make no fight on social media. I don't know if there's ever been a fight made through the newspapers or through social media, some kind of media where they can have access to the people. Mm-hmm. They usually make it on phone calls. and they don't report the ish until it's done. They was doing this while it was live because they was measuring how we were going to respond to it. Now you got people calling Boots a duck. He a coward because he didn't want to give up the bread, and you got other person saying he's a duck because he didn't have nowhere near that type of money that they were offering him. But all it's doing is generate the buzz. Let's see how many people really want this fight, because when we do address it, we can gauge how big we can make it, how we can promote it. And I believe that's truly what the intent was behind it. But, you know, Rachel Donaire told what's her name, himself, like, hey, look, dog, once he went to first bid, all them other, the second and third and offers, they weren't even valid because they happened after the order. And you know, I'm not mad at it, but I'm not about to call somebody some name because of that. But we got people out here doing that too much, bro. He couldn't make that fight because his hand was hurt too. He ain't gonna fight somebody like Boots.
He had operation.
We seen. Go ahead. My bad. I'm talking.
I just said he had operation. You was right. He had how was he gonna fight? He had an operation after that. Remember?
Exactly. So he can't fight. Just like Shakur couldn't fight. Shakur can fight the people that he know he can beat because he's just that good. But when you fighting somebody that's equally as good, you can't get away with stuff like that, bro.
Nah.
Brian Norman not hopping in a ring with no damn boots with a messed up hand.
You can't beat Boots at 100%.
You seen what Bruce just did? Huh?
You're saying the fight did go to a first bid?
No, the fight did go to a first. Yeah, that's Karen Kugadazian.
Oh, Karen.
It went
to I'm bugging out. Okay.
Yeah. Remember the first.
I remember that. Yeah.
They were going to do the fight because he couldn't get the fight that he wanted.
Yeah.
And Norman had just got elevated, so it was like, yo, well, I got a belt. Let's fight. We can fight for this belt. And it was like, well, bet. We sent the $750,000 offer, right? He turned that down, said, nah, that's not enough, man. We got a belt. You got to come with more than that.
And he only made $150,000 with the most he made in his career.
Yeah. But I feel what he's saying, bro. Because like, look again. I'm saying that because I prefaced it with Devin Haney. Look at this predicament that Devin Haney's in right now. Bro is a third fight on a card, right? We're talking about somebody who has headline cards,
right?
Who has made $3 million per fight.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's not getting that money, and he's not even a headliner off of one fight.
Not even a co-main.
A fight that, by the way, he didn't even technically lose. That's the power of what a bad fight can look like. That's the power of Mickey Fricky's making songs like he a runner, he a track star, and hair grease. I just got my hair done 2 days ago. Like, that's the power that it can have on you if you're not that dude.
Yeah.
Now people checking. The only people really gonna check on Devin Haney is the people to see if he either is like that or if they thought he was the bum that they think he is.
Right.
And that's a shame, dog. We talking about a dude that did hella well up until
undisputed. Remember, was undisputed.
And he don't deserve that. He don't deserve that, bro.
No, I don't think so.
But what he did get was
does he though? T. Hill? I mean,
well,
look at the way his career is going.
Do you think that fighters? I'm saying he don't deserve to be thrown away off a bad look. That's all I'm saying. Now the stuff that he's going through, I think that's a process of how they promoted him. And I think that was like turnabout, so to speak, or karma. I don't really believe in karma, but that's what happens when you do people like that. Because let's be clear. Devin Haney pops, and to a certain degree, Devin Haney, because he would co-sign some of it, has talked down upon a lot of people.
That's the problem.
To build him up.
Bill. That's why Devin a lot of people don't like Devin because of Bill. Mm-hmm.
Now we see another person that's coming along doing similar stuff like that. That stuff that your boy did to KQ and talked about KQ, that was deplorable, man. They coming on and talk about you, bro, not for you to talk about somebody else. And then because, somebody else is addressing some of the comments, you come back out there and do it. Now, the only thing that I say is that I got nothing love for KQ. I think that he should have nipped that in the bud when it started. Like, yo, bro, we not here for that. If you come in here to talk about what you and your son got going on, we all for it. But this is not the platform to go talk about another brother. If you want to talk about that, brother, you can pull up. He'll drop the link and y'all can discuss that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I think he should have done that he did not do.
Mm-hmm.
But, he definitely didn't deserve that, man. So, and that's his elder too, bro. Like, we don't treat our elders that way. We didn't come from a society that we used to have like morals and principles, and now we just say whatever the fudge we want because it's gonna get us the look we want or the look we think we need.
You can sit behind that keyboard and say whatever you want to say. You ain't got to get in a person's face and say it no more. And then why? Man,
I got mad love for you and Al Booger, bro. But if y'all ever said something to me that I felt was disrespectful, I'm not gonna say that I need to slap your ass or when I see you, I'm gonna F you up.
Yeah.
Bro, we can always repair whatever it is that went wrong.
Yeah, they didn't have men do it, you know. Yeah, you're right, T. 100%. Well, look at
like, and that's what we are with this stuff.
Like I said, we're gonna go
and that's how come fighters get treated. I'm sorry, go ahead, my bad.
Go ahead and finish, T. I'm sorry, we're getting ready to get out. Go check, dude. But go ahead and finish.
I know, just do his own, man. I apologize, but I never seen Al Booger grace the stage like that, so I wanted to hear what Al Booger had to say. That's my guy.
Yeah, finish your thought you was making. Yeah.
Oh, my thought is just that it's just too much of that stuff going on, man, and it's too much devaluing fighters. We all human, bro. I know that I didn't have some very good days. I didn't have some good days, and I didn't have some bad days, bro. Some very bad ones. We all didn't have that. What makes them any different than us? Why are they held to certain standards than we don't hold ourselves to? And then why is each one of these fighters held to different standards and varying standards? Yeah, if it applies to one, it should apply to all.
That's right.
It is appointed unto man once to die. It's common to all of us. We're gonna get sick. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna. Some of us are gonna do extremely well.
Yeah.
Some of us are gonna not do so well.
Like for instance, let me say this to you. Like for instance, now look at how everybody got down on Boots and all that. Remember? Now Virgil Ortiz got dropped twice and arguably lost the boy Chuck, and he didn't get nowhere near that kind of criticism. Boots won both fights and virtually won every round, but all of a sudden he had two bad performances. That's
so Al Booger, I would like to hear your take on what he just said right there, because that's a valid point.
That's the different standards, man, you know?
That's all it is. Cass is 100% right. As simple as that.
It's crazy.
People pick and choose what they like and don't like. People call Boots a weight bully. Don't call Virgil a weight bully. You know, he's about to die, trying to make weight at 47. He's about to die.
Right.
But he's not a weight bully, though. He's cool. So, you know, I ignore it. I don't care. People say what they
I know you ignore it, but what do you feel about it, though? Seriously, like the performance in particular.
Oh, the performance. It was beautiful, masterful.
Oh,
Boots is him. But that's what you heard. Boots is that dude.
I mean, I can't leave looking at that fight thinking no other way, though, Al Booger. Like, I don't understand what these people see.
You fight inside, mid-range, outside, jab, hook, uppercut. You want footwork, you want hand speed, you want head movement. What you want?
Exactly, my man. So they say my man got hit. He got hit often and too hard, right? Call the nigga that's slow down.
Everybody forget you was in there against top-level opponent, man.
Yeah, and then that's another thing. Now, people that supporting the other guy saying this. He was off for a year. He wasn't even off for a year. The dude that the other guy fought was off for over a year. But they not taking that into consideration. But for Boots, that's why it was that way. That lets you know that them people know that the dude that he fought and the dude that the other dude fought were not in the same category, dog. For that statement right there, if a person could actually be over a year, and you say that you know it was not a problem, but a nigga that wasn't even over, not even out the ring for a year, under a year, he was in off for a whole year, then you know right then and there they know that dude was legit and he beat the dog snot out of him, dog. You know what, that's what that means to me. What's up?
You know what else, T. Hill? I arguably can't think of anybody else at 147 that can beat Stanionis. None of them.
Honestly, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Norman has a puncher's chance against Stanionis. Yeah. I think that Barrios definitely can beat Stanionis, but he has to be on his stuff. I think so. But he has to be on his stuff. And then I think that the dude carrying Kukadaj, I think Kukadaj. Man, I'm standing on my square on Kukadaj, and I think Kukadaj is a fantastic boxer, bro.
I forgot about him.
I really do.
I forgot all about Curran. I
don't think anybody else can beat them. Like, and I'm not saying that they will beat them. I think they have the ability to beat them. Yeah. Like, I honestly feel like Norman can beat Boots, but a lot of things has to go right for him to that happen. Yeah. I think Boots cannot have his very best day and still win the fight. Mm-hmm. I don't think the same way about Norman. I think if he don't have his very best day, he getting his ass sparked. That's how I feel. I could be wrong.
He got to have a fight against Boots.
Yeah. And ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. I believe, man. I believe this. I believe that there are pitchers that play baseball that if they had a prime Barry what's his name, Barry Bonds, they can give him the whiff, and he don't strike out that much. But if they're not throwing that best stuff,
G-Hill. Huh? I got to interrupt you on that one. Barry Bonds, nah, you're not getting nothing past Barry Bonds. You might get one strike. You might get a strike on him, but you're not striking him out. That's not happening.
But there has been some people who have done it.
With all due respect.
I'm just saying that the likelihood of that happening is slim to none.
Yes, very slim.
More times than not, you're getting your ass punished, and if it don't leave the park, it's getting screaming out that damn infield.
Yes.
And I think that's what I'm saying. That's how I'm equating the fight with Boots and Brian Norman. I think there is a chance that he can strike him out. But he got to be on his very best, and he got to catch Boots on a bad night.
Yeah.
But on a bad night, Boots.
Tell me your thoughts on this. I've been looking at this dude. I feel like the only question with Boots is, does he tighten his defense up in the big fights against the real tough competition?
Yeah.
And then 2, does his chin hold up in those big fights when he gets hit?
Yeah,
my question
for sure.
Was, other than that, I think he's the best. Other than that, I think he's the most talented fighter from 147 to 160.
Mm-hmm.
And if all things go well, he could run the table for not going undisputed all weight categories, no, but dominate 147, 54, and 60. What y'all think?
No, I'm standing pat with you on that. I believe the same thing. I've always felt that way. To further extrapolate on what you just said, I believe the true factors in those 3 fights that he's had before this fight. We can go back to Kukadajian 1, then Avanesian, Kukadajian 2, right? Yeah. Kukadajian 1, he tried to outshine Tank. He wanted to be the star of stars that night. So much so that it superseded game plan and everything. I just gotta put on a show that these Mickey Freakies will talk about with the guy that they talk about the most. So that was that fight. I think the other one with Avanesian, I wanted to get Spence, I wanted to get Crawford, I got neither, and I had to settle for him because I want to stay busy. And it wasn't a bad fight, but it just didn't have the look that we expected out of him, and especially the Roman Villa Boots. The one who was motivated to show everybody that nigga, I am what Al Booker just said, him.
Yeah.
Capital HYM. I am him. And then he had to order the mandatory because it was a purse bid. He didn't want to fight that dude again. I already beat him. I 12-0'd him.
He didn't want to fight him.
Why I gotta fight him? I don't want to fight him. This is my life here at this division. I'm not feeling this fight. And because he wasn't really in tune to a fight that he didn't want, you got that kind of performance. The fight he got this time was the fight he wanted. And boy, did he put on a Roman Villa type performance.
Perfect style for him, too. Perfect style.
You're right about that. You're right about that. And did he get hit? Yes, he did. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this with full assurance. You go back and watch that Conceição fight with Shakur. Now, they gave him only 10 total body punches that he landed. That nigga landed 6 in the first round. Go back and watch it. Second round, he landed 3. That's 9. He only landed 10 by CompuBox. There are a lot of times when these I guess what you would say promotional companies put on their fights, the people that's calling it, they say, hey, look, I don't want it to look a certain way when you're doing it.
Yeah.
So whenever them numbers tally, they better tally like it didn't look like he got touched. Because who's his biggest opposition? A nigga that when he touches you, night. So we want to promote the fact that he don't get touched. They all get touched.
Yes, boxing.
Boots got hit. He took some serious shots. What Al Booger said is true. Will it hold up against somebody that is skilled and can hit it? Because he's getting it. That's the only thing. Other than that, man, talent, check. Skill, check. Power, check. He's checking all about it. And size. He's a big dude.
5'10", 5'11".
Big dude, right?
Yeah.
He bigger than most niggas he's in the ring with.
So yeah. He got left at 147. Boots.
I get 1 year tops.
I give him 1 year. I think he has to get. So for him, what he would have to do, and this is what I would do, because I don't know when Barrios is going to get recovered. Because I'm gonna be real with you, bro. Barrios has been on the mend. He is in a relationship. No. I'm gonna be real. He's in a relationship with a fighter family. Yeah. I know you know.
I didn't know about that.
And things didn't go well, and some brothers had to come over there and let him know we don't have this type of relationship.
Oh no!
And they were
But was it because of Barrios or was it because of the brothers?
It was the Barrios. It was the Barrios brother. The Figueroa brothers.
Figueroa, right?
Yeah, they had a dispute.
Did Barrios do something, or was it Figueroa that started something? Like who started it?
I think it was something. Now that I'm not. I'll find out. I'll talk to my guy.
Right? It started between Barrios and his sister.
Because you know, Mama, you know him too, bro. Because he was always on Dr. Boxing Talk. But he didn't want to include me, and he didn't tell me what happened. But he said it was a discrepancy, and an altercation broke out, and hands were placed on.
I think the sister had something to do with it too.
Yeah, I think it was over her.
They dated now, right? They dated, right?
I think that's his fiance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think something was taken out of tune, or something was said out of tune, and somebody got tuned up. Make sure they say the right stuff in there.
You know, that's life. That is
life, bro. That is life.
Yeah.
So that's why he ain't been heard from. He getting himself together, and he got to go out there and defend. Whether Norton get that fight or not, Norman get that fight or not, I'm not sure. But if he's not able to get that fight, if I'm Boots, I gotta press Norton. Norman fast, because I gotta get that fight. Because I could easily make the other fight, because it's with PBC, and guess what? The next step up and the next step after that, PBC dominates. So they're gonna make a press for him, and there's gonna be mad smoke for him. So they're gonna try to make whatever they can, whatever accommodations they need to make sure they see, hey, right here is where you belong. So I would press for that.
Right? So
that shouldn't be exactly.
If Boots gonna get undisputed at 47, he got to do it in his next 2 fights.
2 fights is all he got. 3 maybe, but 3 might be the fight that he get caught. Because I'm sorry, Booger, I don't say he weight bullying folks, because you got to sacrifice to get to a weight.
I don't believe in weight bullying. That's me. You do you.
Huh?
I'm not a weight bully.
No, I didn't say you did. I just know that some people will say stuff like that. But he's clearly he struggled on that scale, bro. He didn't look right on that scale.
Yo, he looked crazy. And that weigh-in picture.
He almost starting to get that look, bro. That what's the dude that fought Tank? Martin, the Devin Haney, the Martin look.
Frank.
Yeah, the Ghost. Davis. Was it Martin? Yo, it's Marvis. Yeah, the Ghost. He was looking like the ghost that you can send on an emoji. Matter of fact, I'll put it in the chat right now. He was looking like that.
Now I think didn't they say something Saturday about they could have the 10 pounds for the IBF wasn't in effect because the other belt was involved too. So they
So now you don't have to worry about that. He won't ever have to worry about that.
He got that other belt too.
Yeah, he could use that. He could use that as the state in which we do the rehydration clause on. But make no mistake about it, that was a tough fight for him because of that. And he made that ish look like cakewalk, bro. You can't tell me this dude not nice.
I know.
Whoever say anything bad about him, they got a problem with him. They got a problem with Tank. They got a problem with him going after Bud, him going after Spence, or him being affiliated at some point in time with negotiations with Al Heyman. Because other than that, what has he done, bro? He hasn't done anything to deserve any kind of warranted criticism.
Nope.
He's been fighting only the fight that he can get.
I think it's just gangbanging personally. If you're not with PBC, certain people are not gonna like you. If you're a black fighter, you're not on PBC, or you sign Eddie Hearn, they're not gonna like you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
That's trivial, bro. That's so trivial, dog.
That's what it is.
Like, why do we do stuff like that, man? Why do we do stuff? And once they get wind of it, man, they just run rampant with the type stuff, bro. So that it's always inundating our airwaves. So that's all we see. This dude.
One talking point come out, then everybody just run with it, and it becomes true. Everybody start believing it,
Exactly, bro. And all I want to believe is that the fights can be made. All I can want to believe is that the people put their best trainer and healthy too, bro. Because like Al Booger said, I don't want to see nobody harmed going in against somebody of a certain stature. I don't want to see Tank running through obstacles in his head, got his mind not right and functioning while he in front of a Shakur Stevenson that's healthy, or Devin Haney that's healthy, or Tiafimo that's healthy. And likewise, I don't want to see the other. I don't want to see the other over there with him in the ring healthy, and they're not right. I want to see the fight on best possible terms, with each going in there at their best. Then we get a better fight, bro.
For everybody, yeah, that's true. For the fighters, for the fans, you know.
And you know, I feel that way for all these fighters. There's a lot of fights that can be made, but will they make them? And will they finally get rid of like ego? I think ego is the greatest thing that's separating these fights from getting made right now. Feeding into what you think, Bugs?
I think a lot of this stuff is just the right situation. Like these promotional companies got to put money up, and if you got a fighter right on your stable, and you got a fighter on some other stable, you want to make sure that your guy has the best chance to win, because you need for your stable to rise. So
that's right.
Agreed. I agree with that. I mean, it's a varied circumstance. It is. I mean, I can't knock that, because people are putting their money up for the fight. First and foremost, I'm not putting any. The only money they get out of me is for a pay-per-view event.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, granted, the conglomeration of pay-per-view numbers give them a hell of a number, but I by myself, it's just a blip on that radar. The money that they're spending to put on this fight, to advertise the fight and all this other stuff, my stuff pales in comparison too. So, like, I know that my role in it is only for support. My role is only for enjoyment.
Together, though, T. Hill.
You said what?
All the fans together are important, though.
So if we could look at it from that standpoint, like you just made and what Booger was alluding to, we can together start helping these people see that these are fights that we need to see. Instead of making reasons why they can't fight or tearing down a fighter, let's push the fights.
Yeah.
Push for the fights. Support the fighters and push for the fights. This is why this fight would be such a great fight. Because this person is known to be elusive in the ring, known to be able to hit and not get hit as often. This person is known to be able to swim through adversity and set people up to bring them close to the shot he wants to deliver to do some maximum damage. Let's see the fight.
You know what, T?
Instead, we got a nigga running. You said what?
We are fans of the sport, but the people that are just fans of fighters are the ones that prevent that from happening.
Man. Well, you know, they call that by some bad terms, boys. Some terms I don't even care to say. Right. But I don't fan that way, bro. I'm not a fan that's built like that. I come from a different era.
Y'all know. Yeah, I can tell the way y'all talk.
No, I know you know. I know Bugs know. Yeah. But we just don't fan that way, bro. We come from an era where they fought. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you nice, bro. You did him dirty. I like to see what you could do against me. I don't think you got it like that. And they get in the ring and they fight. And I'm going to tell you what, bro, and I'm going to tell you why, too. One of the greatest fights of all time happened, and a fighter went in that ring together, well-oiled machine. Another one had a messed up hand and was in bad shape physically because he was out there running wind sprints in the sand before the fight. That was Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler.
Yeah,
I heard that from Tommy Hearns himself. Never did you hear him make not one excuse. He didn't even make an excuse that way. I just asked a question. I was like, hey, yo, bro, why did Tommy Hearns fight it? He's sitting in the background when I'm asking the question, and he answers the thing. He says, man, you know, my hand was messed up, but I couldn't pull out that fight. That was a big fight, and I still believe that I had enough in me to fight my fight.
To win. Yeah.
The boy told me that the other guy, Emmanuel Stewart, had him out there running 100 wind sprints before the fight, the day before the fight. Yeah. So he didn't have enough stamina that he needed to fight with one hand messed up against one of the best fighters of all time.
Yeah, it was his right
But
hand.
even though it was a tremendous fight, you saw how quick it was.
Yeah.
He was spent on there, and he didn't have nothing to keep that man off of him.
Nothing. That was one of his main weapons, that right hand, you know.
We are so thirsty for fights that we are willing to put somebody that might not be in the very best shape to fight another person. Whether it's physically or mentally, they might not be in the shape. And we know mentally plays a part too. We do know that because Oliver McCall showed that with Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oliver McCall is a serious talented fighter. Seriously talented fighter. Had all you needed in a fighter. He just wasn't right that night on that mind.
Yeah.
When you're tired, you got to have some serious resolve within your mind to say, look, dog, I know you tired, but we going through this. We going to push through. We going to see this through. But usually your form break, your courage break. Things that didn't bother you as much start to bother you now. You can start feeling pains and aches that you normally just push to the side. And that all will impact the way your fight goes out.
Yeah.
And that's mental. So if they're not physically right or mentally right, why would we want to see the fight, bro? I don't want to see it.
No.
I don't want to see some execution or some massacre. I want to see entertainment. I want to see a classic fight.
Yeah, Booker dropped off. You okay, T?
The bug, man. I think I need to drop off too because I know we done went past.
Serious conversation though, man. You know? That's one day.
Yeah, you know I could talk, bro. I got a problem, dog. I got to stop.
No, it's all good. And I enjoyed it. It's all good. You know?
But shout out to everybody in the chat, man. My bad. I just hopped on and didn't even pay my homage to the people, man. Shout out to the good brother Al Booger, man. It's always good to talk to him, man. That's a good brother right there. Really knowledgeable. Got D for the Mickey Freaky win, the leader of the pack. Don't worry about them. He coming back leading them. Mike Mazik, the champ. You know what I'm saying? We got Mrs. Cass, the better half. You know we got Donnie Williams. I know he was up in here. I know Ray Patterson from Jersey is up in there. I know, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Rim, he usually comes through. And more than likely, my man D1, he probably stopped through and said hello too, man. And for all you guys that was voyeuring, that you was watching but was not participating in the chat, you still got a place here where your man can give you the history of boxing and show what the annals of time has showed us from a pugilistic standpoint. Shout out Cass Sports, the box historian. Shout out to everything you do. And whenever you ever need to learn your little something about boxing, he got you covered. Everybody, mosey on over to Just Do Boxing, where my brother KB gives you nothing but boxing talk for hours on end without stutter or stammer. He will not have bias or partiality. What you will find is the sport being big up and everybody that's in the sport being bigged up, unless they doing some nonsense. This is Cass Sports, the box historian. I am Thomas Hill, your lowly servant. We hope to see you over at Just Do. You guys have a blessed day.